Reactables. It's not in the dictionary. We made it up, but it
Let me
works.
first start out by, where do I put my
I
hands?
think there is this kind of
I
misconception.
I I agree as well. I mean, I think he's right. It's also kind of like
A Martini production.
Hey guys, John the Everyday Collector here, and thank you for stopping by my channel. Hope everyone's doing well. We're kicking the channel off with a new show that was teased about a month or so ago. We're calling it Reactables, and the whole idea behind it is friends, guys like us, YouTube streamers, we're going to be reacting to fellow streamers talking about collectibles. It could be streamers, it could be companies, whatever we want to react to, but it's going to be our reactions to people talking about collectibles. That's where we came the name Reactables. It's not in the dictionary. We made it up, but it works. Joined by some amazing friends and fellow streamers. We got Brenton. What's going on, man?
Oh, not too much. I'm excited to be here to do this. This should be a lot of fun.
Glad to have you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here for the first show. We got Steve from the Casual Nerd Problems. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. This is take 4, so I'm gonna act surprised and happy. No, I'm kidding. No, it's great to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
No, man. Thank you for being here. And of course, we got Cash, the Gemini. How you doing, brother?
hey, as my mom would always say, if you're on time, you're on time. Let's do this, man.
All right, guys. So we're gonna kick off the first show, and this is a video that I watched a while ago. So this is a kind of a working idea. I watched it a while ago, and it kind of hit home. So I wanted to talk about it, react to it. This is kind of how the show started, and it's by a very well-known influencer in the collecting community. I think everybody knows who he is. Great channel. Funny jokes. You got to be careful. The jokes are here and there. If you're sensitive, you can't. The jokes, you could take them to heart. But really good guy, some good content, and an amazing collection. A beautiful collection he has. Of course, we're talking about Mr. X from the Extreme channel on YouTube. Again, some great content he's putting out there. And he had put up this video, and the topic of the video was, is it okay to flip a statue for profit? So we're going to watch the video. We're going to pause it. The points that it brings up I find very interesting. We're going to talk about it amongst ourselves. You guys can make comments on the YouTube page afterwards as well. And let's have some fun, right? This is about having fun, talking with the community, sharing thoughts, just so we're not one-sided. Lots of ideas. Let's get together and talk about them. So let's get a kick started, okay? We're going to get it kick started. So here he is, Mr. X. Lovely guy.
I was gonna say, I love the idea, John. Just because Mr. X is a great person to start out with,
Yeah.
I'm sure he could take a joke.
Of course.
He throws jokes everywhere.
Yeah.
Which are funny, But yeah, great person to start out with.
Yeah, he has a good sense of humor. So hopefully, again, this is nothing to take to heart. This is just fun banter and a cool idea to kind of run with.
Don't worry, I have his consent. I asked him to sign, and on the dotted line, he said "F you." So
Yeah.
it's more than welcome.
Okay. So this, again, the topic is it okay to flip a statue for profit? And this really, the concept of this video came forward after that drama with Prime 1 re-releasing the Big Chap statue. That's where it started. So let's get it kick-started. And again, at the end of the video, I will link Mr. X's channel, and you can go ahead and watch the full episode as well. So here we go, guys.
Collectors that were upset about the whole Big Chat Prime 1 Studios Alien Dilemma. Now, some of them were upset because they ordered it and they had broken pieces and they didn't have replacement parts. So Prime 1 didn't fulfill the replacement parts. They gave them a shitty $80, $100 store credit. But now Prime 1 Studios is making more pieces for future buyers. That's shady as fuck, in my opinion. And that's not what we're going to talk about today.
But that's a great point, though. That was I think what Prime One did was shady. It was the people, to go back a bit, the people ordered the original Prime One Alien chap, got it in hand. It was limited, it had an ES, it was quite pricey, and a lot of them came damaged. And then when people came forward, they were hesitant. They're like, no, sorry, we don't have replacement parts. So your option is to send it back at your cost all the way to Prime One in Asia, or here, we'll give you a credit.
Yeah, that was kind of a giant middle finger to everyone that just bought that and got a breakage that was no fault of their own. If
Yeah.
it breaks in shipping, and then the company's just like, well, we can't really do anything for you, but here's $80 for our $1,500 statues. Enjoy.
And it wasn't like a one-off. There was like multiple incidents and multiple collectors saying the same thing. So it's like, come on, man. Like,
100%. And then now they're coming out with the re-release where, now they're re-releasing because they see an area of opportunity to make some more money. They should have been making those parts back in the day when people were asking for them.
Yeah, I agree. But I heard it was not a re-release. I heard they're calling it the Big Cop. You know what I mean? Like they took out one of the letters, so everything's okay. It's just a misprint, guys. Just a misprint. No worries.
you heard it here first, right?
That's it.
But there were some collectors that were mad because they bought the original one, and now they think it's going to demean the value of their original one because a new one is coming out that is almost identical to the old one. Now, while I don't agree with what Prime One Studio did, it got me thinking, when we resell a statue, is it okay to sell it for more than retail? And honestly, that opens up a lot of other questions I want to look at today. So essentially, I think there's 3 different scenarios, and we're going to talk about each one. Scenario number 1 is you buy a statue so you can enjoy it. You have every single intention of displaying that statue. Now, eventually that statue arrives, and a few different things may happen. Maybe you take it out, you display it, and you love it. Maybe it's for 6 months or 6 years. Maybe it arrives and you have money problems. Or maybe it arrives and you no longer have space and you want to resell it. So the smart thing to do once you receive that statue is to look at the market value of that statue. Is it selling for above retail? Is it selling at retail? Is it selling below retail? If you buy a statue for the sole intention to display it, and you need to sell it, whether you need to sell it on day 1 or maybe day 500, you should sell it at whatever the going rate is for it. I have no issues with that. I think that's the smart thing to do. So that's...
Would you guys agree with that?
Oh, yeah. You could see it a lot. Like, I agree with it, but there's people, well, I guess we'll get into it a little bit later, but, flippers. And then there's also, like, people going after it for the hype. Like, that's, like, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes, like, people... I don't know if you call them collectors anymore, That's, I don't know.
Well, if they're hype buying, they're not buying to display it, like he said, right? In this first example, it's like if you're just buying it because it's the cool thing to do, you don't really have any intentions to display this, and then you're kind of up the creek when you get it in hand, and you're like, well, I guess I got to sell it now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's smart to get your money for what you want, but for what it's going for. But it's also like one of those things, like, if I know you, I can cut you some slack,
Kind of sharing that wealth within the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now the second point he gets to is where it really gets juicy.
That's kind of category number 1, and I want to say that I don't think there's any problems with that whatsoever. Now, category number 2 is people who buy a statue with the sole intention that I need to make money if I ever sell this statue. I think this is stupid. Statue collecting is not an investment. It can be, coincidentally or by accident, but statue collecting is about collecting. You should buy a statue because you love it, you like it, and you want to display it. You should not buy it because you want to make money on it. Now, Mr. X, why are you dictating what other people can and can't do? I'm going to get to that in a second. But for some reason, there is this common misconception that when I sell a statue, and I don't mean me personally, you guys see my for sale videos all the time, I take losses. I take losses for a lot of reasons. Number 1, I am very blessed, and I think it's okay to kind of share that with other people. Number 2, it helps them sell quicker, and it's just a pain I don't have to deal with. And number 3, these are used statues. You can't expect or always expect that when you buy something and enjoy it for 6 months or 6 years, that it's going to retain the same value that it did when you bought it. Like I said, maybe the market price does dictate that, and that's fine. But there's some big common misconception from a lot of collectors that if they sell a statue, a used statue, they can't take a loss on it. It's like, well, what the fuck do you think you just bought? You bought something, you used it for years, and then you want to sell it as used for the same price you paid or maybe even more. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this, these type of people are bad for the collector community. People who...
I'll stop it there. Damn, that's a lot.
That is a lot to take in.
That's a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in. What do you guys think about that? Like, I think it's such a fine line.
Well, I agree with what he says. You know, I think there is this kind of misconception that everything you have is going to increase in value, or you're going to be able to get more down the road, and it's just not true. I mean, if you want to try and play that game, it's probably going to sit in your collection and not sell, or you're going to have to wait till you find somebody that's willing to pay that. So that, as the seller, that's on you then.
I agree as well. I mean, I think he's right. It's also kind of like we were taught, like as younger, like when you buy like a lot of older people were collecting like stamps and coins, but at the same time, like they kind of did it for pleasure, but also maybe the value will go up. So it's almost like you're taught from like your dad, your uncle, your grandpa, like, you know.
What do you think, Steve? Before I
agree with everything he said. Like, let me first start out by, where do I put my hands? Like, he made a video about like, he's like, where do I put my hands? Why are my hands on the screen? Like, but yeah, I do agree with everything he did say. But then also for me, it's like, I do see that a lot in the community. It's weird, but it's common. It's got so like it's frequent too, where people put up the same price that it's on the website for. It's like, why would I order from you when it's the same price on the website? Like
yeah,
it's I don't know. It's unrealistic, to be honest. But
it's a great point. Thing is, I think this becomes situational because, like you're saying, like for example, we can talk about anything on, let's say, Sideshow Collectibles website. It's like you said, why am I going to list? I'm not going to list it for more or the same because, well, I would rather, unless you know the person, I'd rather buy directly from Sideshow and have that assurance that it's going to come. But if we're talking about pieces that are like 500 made, 250 made, and they're long sold out, you guys know me. I've preached so many times. I'm not someone who buys to sell because I really haven't sold any pieces. It's only now where 15 years later, I'm looking at my collection saying, I think it's time to kind of upgrade and move on to some pieces that I really like. And I think that's where it becomes pivotal as to at least being able to get your money back. Because I sit back and say, I've curated this collection. I've taken care of everything. A lot of the pieces have been in the box, dusted, really took passion and enjoyed the pieces, but really took care of the pieces. And these are pieces that you can't find anymore. I should at least be able to get the money that I put into it just to, not to make money off of someone or the community or to take advantage, but simply just to reinvest the funds into the collection to get maybe a piece that is something that I want to upgrade to. I think when you're buying a limited edition collectible, that value should be maintained, in my opinion.
See, but I think that's a misconception in collecting, though, because rarity doesn't mean it has value. Just because something's rare, there's no value attached to that. It's all about demand. Is this popular? Do people want it? And are they willing to pay for it? If you can have the rarest thing in the world, but if nobody wants it, you're not selling it.
Something also to notate with like statues is like with cars, like every generation car is a new style, right?
Yeah.
So now we're getting to like, I guess, the modern age with like statues where the bases are crazy, the sculpts are crazy, silicone, there's like new like things going on. So with the older statues, to me, it's kind of hard to have that idea where they should keep that value, where even though they had like low edition size, rarity, all that, a lot of people are gonna get the newest one. You know, the newest Scarlet Witch, the newest Thor, the newest everything. But you know, there's also those collectors that do collect older
for originality. Like
Yeah,
if we pull up the definition I got, what is considered a collectible? Okay, I pulled it online, and it says, again, this is just as an example. It can mean different variations for anybody. It's tons of things, but it says a collectible is an item worth far more than it was originally sold for because of its rarity and popularity, as well as the condition. That's how I grew up collecting. Right? It was always, I started with my dad's comics, taking care of the comics, making sure they're bag and boarded, taped, well maintained. I feel like collecting nowadays is just pivoted. It doesn't have that same. It's okay. What's the newest and best thing that I can get? Collecting how it was. Hey, this shit sold out in 15 minutes. It has a low ES. This is a collectible. But if you're adding the collectible name to your pieces, and every Tom, Dick, or Harry can pick one up at any time, I guess then you have to look at what's your definition of a collectible, right? And then the other topic that was brought up was used. I can't wrap my head around as to I can display a statue for 3 years, and I could put that statue back in the box, and you won't even tell it was taken out of the box. So the whole used concept, that I personally don't understand. And I don't think displaying a statue, as long as the statue is displayed and well taken care of, dusted, and no scratches, no chips, nothing like that, I don't think it being displayed should take a hit against the price tag. We're not talking about 1/6 like Hot Toys, where you take it out, all the plastic's taken off, the tape, this and that.
But it is to a degree, right? Because your statue pieces are wrapped. And you've taken them out.
If I want to take the time, I can rewrap that statue better than Sideshow did, or better than another company did. I can.
I think used is it opened? Like, that is what used means. Has it been opened?
There's just tape from the box, though. There's nothing from the statue.
Yeah.
So you would honestly never know. Like Sideshow employees, heck, Paul from Sideshow could be doing your Scarlet Witch. Like, we would know.
Well, that's probably why it ends up on seconds.
Jesus.
Something Pudgy always brings up, Joe. Joe number one. He always brings up cars. A funny fact someone at work brought up is the most devalued car out of all cars is the Maserati. It's so devalued as soon as you drive it off the car lot.
Yes.
The price jumps down like this. Just off the car lot, like not even a mile.
Yeah, it's like all new cars. Yeah.
No. But the Maserati
specifically
is considered a luxury car and is also considered a rare car. So I wouldn't say it's a collectible. It could be a collectible for some people, but if you take that into your definition with, the statues, it's kind of, if it's open, it's
but
it devalues it. It has to devalue in a certain way.
But the whole thing is you don't know if it's been open. That box can be sealed to the point where you don't know. I don't like comparing.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I don't like comparing collecting to cars, because I drive a Maserati off the lot, and you can look at the odometer and see, hey, he drove a mile. When I pull out a statue, you don't know how many minutes that's been displayed. There's no timer on it.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Matilda.
Selena, sell me a lemon.
That's dishonesty on the seller, then, right?
Yeah,
if you're trying to pass it off as new, but you displayed it for years.
No,
Yeah,
you can say displayed, well taken care of. It all comes down to the buyer's decision. My whole thing is to say, I display a statue, the price should depreciate because of that. Like when you go to a museum and stuff, things are on display. Those pieces don't depreciate. I know that's a little bit out of context.
Yeah, I was gonna say what.
A little bit out of context, but
because even like the Mona Lisa or whatever art print you can think of, like if it's mint, it's the original. we don't care if it's 1,000,000 years old, of Picasso, Michelangelo, Donatello, whoever the hell name you could think of. You know what I mean? Like
Brenton
Turtles.
Brenton sees Action Comics #1 on the floor. He's walking past it. He's like, forget this shit.
No, but I think in the video he he used the word used, but he was equating that to displayed.
Of course.
exactly.
So I think it was just, using a different word, but it means displayed. So it's been opened, it's out. Like, don't expect to get new retail or higher for something that's been displayed.
But I think and that's a good point, because that's the thing. I think that if we're looking at statues that are in stock, then most definitely. But if you're looking at a statue that's been sold out and that's admired by people in the community, why not expect it?
Well, that's the key right there, admired. If it's a long sold out, low ES, but no one gives a shit, don't expect retail or higher for that.
Well, I for me personally, I gotta expect at least retail, or it's gonna stay in the. I can't take a loss on a piece. Well, to your point, when we lay all the cards on the table, it doesn't matter in anything. This is anything in life, not even collectibles. Something's only worth what someone else is willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
I'm just saying, from my don't call them collectibles then.
Well, I mean, if you go by that definition, no, none of these should be called collectibles.
Don't call them collectibles,
because it's not at a point yet where they have that desirability.
Yep.
So it should have to meet some criteria before it's labeled a collectible, not immediately.
I think that's where we need to kind of pivot, is that word collectible, limited. The companies love to use those words: limited, collectible, low edition size, almost gone, out of stock. They love it because what does it do? It gets the eyes, it gets the hype going.
Well, it's all marketing, right? I mean, how many times have you bought a movie and it's like, oh, here's this limited edition or collectible edition version of this movie, and it's the same thing as, just the regular version. It may have like a special feature or something.
John, do you take the time? You said 15 years. Do you take the time into account of like having that statue with you, admiring the statue? The time you invested in, moving the statue around, the time you invested in, taking care of it and everything.
Do I take that as value to myself, where I can deduct it from the price?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
I can't agree with that. Like, oh, I spent time looking at it and admiring it, therefore it should be valued less. I see value in that. I see value in that because I look at it and I say, I really worked hard. I love that piece. I really worked hard for it, and this is what I have to show for it. But I don't feel like that should come off of on the other end of the value of the piece.
That's interesting.
So you're saying because you take well care of something, if you sell it, it should go for a higher price.
No.
Keep the price.
It should. I'm not. Hey, you know me, Brenton. I'm not one to. I'm gonna sell to milk a statue or to milk a product, but at least what you invested into it. Unless you've paid ridiculous amounts of money, but I'm saying at least retail into that piece.
Yeah, see, I can't get behind that though. That you're hoping you get at least retail, like that's your minimum. I feel like there's stuff you're gonna take a loss on if you sell. If
I take a loss, I keep it, because I have more emotionally invested into the piece than I would than taking the loss. I wouldn't want to take the loss.
See, that's where I was gonna ask, but since you just said that, then good luck. I'm kidding.
Well, so it comes down to, it's all personal then. How you view it. Like, you don't want to take a loss. You'd rather keep it than take a loss. Whereas someone else may be willing to take the loss because they want to get what they can to help fund something else.
Correct. I've been collecting. I started in my teens, so I have a lot of years and emotional attachment to the pieces. If I'm selling something, it's because I want to take the piece and kind of reinvest it into the collection. To take a loss, to pay below, and I think it's rare. I think it's rare to take a loss on older pieces that you bought. Because I think you'll at least get your retail, because they were really fairly priced back then, especially when you're looking at Sideshow.
Well, it's probably unique to
$300,
statues.
$400, yeah.
250, 275. This Thor here in the middle, I think it was like $400 Canadian. That's crazy for a premium format. So with that older stuff, maybe that's kind of the mentality I have, but I just don't feel. And again, everybody's open. I don't think you're bad if you want to try to make a little bit of a profit on a piece. I don't think you're a bad person. Same with if you want to sell at a loss. It's your decision, right? It's your decision. It's your money that you invested into these pieces that you purchased it with. No one's going to tell you what to do. But everyone's different. I may not want to take a loss, but someone's okay with it because life is different. People have different situations going on, and they may need funds right away. But then if you're selling at low, let's say on eBay, that's all tracked. So that starts the okay, here's the waterfall of now the pieces are dropping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
It's a vicious circle.
That's how fair market value is determined, right? You know, that goes back to the first point where you're looking at fair market value. What is whatever you're selling is going for.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to be considered, because I know there's a lot of people in the community. There's a lot of greedy people in the community, but there's a lot of honest people as well. I just don't want to be considered trashy or looked bad upon because I want to reinvest funds into my collection, and I would like to at least get what I've put into the collection. I'm not going to try to rip anybody off, but I would at least like to try, if I'm going to sell a piece, to get what I put into it.
Just an idea for the next video. He's asking a question: is it okay to flip a statue for a profit? We should answer the question in the beginning and see if it changes towards the end.
Oh, towards the end? That's not a bad idea. Okay, well, we're midway. Let's do it quick. What do you think? Is it okay to flip a statue for a profit?
Well, I don't like the word flip because I feel like that's a different meaning in collecting communities. It should be, is it okay to sell a statue for a profit? Then yes. But
Okay.
if you're just buying for the purpose of selling, no.
I agree, and I think Mr. X's warning on like it's never smart to like buy specifically for that reason. I think he's right, because you're playing like a Russian roulette type
You're
game.
playing
like
with fire.
Maybe not. So I agree.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. It's just like I asked this question earlier. Like, how about the people that, do flip? They want those rare those rare statues, and they want to double their they want to sell it the next day to double the price, to flip it basically, and they double the price. So for me, my question is are those considered collectors if they're just that's all they're doing?
And we're going to get into that in the third section. That's going to be where I think he really gets into it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So let's do it.
Who buy and they have to make money on a statue make this community worse. And again, for the 10th time, so people don't misinterpret me, I'm not saying you can't make money when you sell a statue. I'm saying if that is your sole purpose or a hill you are going to die on, you are looking at collecting completely wrong. Because collecting isn't just about your collection, it's about the community. Well, clearly, numero uno first, right? I will always take care of my family, my employees, and my friends first, but not at the expense of other people. So I totally disagree with the philosophy that I have to make money if I sell a statue. I'm going to strategize for that. And I think this Alien Big Chat Prime 1 is a great example of that. If you're a collector of the original and you've had all your damages fixed and you have no issues with that, again, that's a separate bucket, but you don't want other people to have it because it'll devalue the statue in your collection, you are what's wrong with the community. Why can't someone else enjoy it? All right, before I get too...
What? I don't know.
His hands, I swear to God. It's
Swear to me. No, I get... I get what he's saying. I get the whole thinking of the community and stuff. But at the same time, I'm putting myself in the people's shoes and being like, well, I bought a statue with an edition size.
Mm-hmm.
Then sell me the statue. Don't call it a collectible, and don't put an edition size on it. Keep an open ES. Mm-hmm. This is all okay. These conversations are all healthy. But you marketed the statue with an edition size. Remove it.
I do agree, because even if you take XM Doc Ock, it took me a while to find it. Obviously, I was looking for a specific price, but it took me a while to find it. And if they did like redo the same thing, yeah, it's like cool for the newer person to get it, but it's also like, damn, I really took me that time to hunt this down
Of
while
course.
you're just, here you go. You know?
And I think that's what collecting is all about. You need the hunt. You need to have the hunt sometimes.
I think that part is really fun with it, because I'll say this: I don't have the type of money where I can just go out and get every single thing I want.
Precisely,
if I
yeah.
did, I'm not sure if the hunt would be as fun, because it's like, oh, 2,700. I know it's worth 14. Here you go.
Yeah.
So I also think a person's financial, kind of plays a factor as well. No different than selling, because if you do have money, maybe you don't care about taking a thing. Maybe if you need money, you are like, yeah, here's it is for $100. I know it's worth 500, but I need groceries.
Precisely.
You know what I mean? Like,
or if selling the pieces is your main way to fund your collection further, then yeah, you're going to want to maximize the dollar. You don't have any. It's not any personal attack to the community. It's just your financial situation. You got to recycle the money, so you're going to try your best to try to squeeze every penny out of the piece that you own.
yeah. Also, if there's only one being sold, you kind of, you can do what you want at that point. If you know it's supply and demand, right? Supply and demand.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to it a little bit more in the third segment. That supply and demand. That's a great point that you bring up.
Well, do you think collecting has changed that much though? That's part of the big problem, right? Because maybe in the old days there was only one company putting out statues.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They put out that one version, and if you had to go back and hunt that one down, you were going to pay whatever was required to get it. But
it's like Doctor Strange.
You have like 5 companies now, and it seems like collecting more is about balancing and planning ahead.
Yeah.
And maybe not going as backwards as often.
Yeah, it's for me, like I have a bunch of sideshow pieces, and as you guys know, they're high edition sizes, but like I can't go for the Queen Studios or the XM ones. The price is too high for me to have. I do admire them. I do think they're cool and everything, but the price is too high. But like, let's say I get a Mystique from a sideshow, edition size of 1,000, and then like they go, hey, we're gonna remake it. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? What's going on here? Like, I'll be pissed, man. Even though it's a small edition size and price is still low, I'm still gonna be upset. Like, price to me like fluctuates in companies and everything. So even though it's what a lot of people consider a cheap, statue company nowadays, or affordable one, I still be kind of pissed off that if they remade it or
of course.
Yeah.
I agree, because even if that were to happen, you know what's gonna happen? We're gonna see it, and the first light bulb goes off in our head. Hey, yo, Steve, you see what Sideshow doing? Because that light bulb is gonna go off. Like, you have to tell the person that this is affecting. Like,
Yeah.
Well, is that kind of what's happening with Sideshow now? It's not re-releases, but the way seconds are working with new statues.
I thought you were gonna say Doc Ock. I'm like, hold on, buddy. I don't know why I thought you were gonna say that.
No, but like all those new statues that have just come out, and people
Dr.
are paying
Doom.
full price, and it's like, oh, you could have got $100 off if you waited for seconds. A little bit of shipper box damage.
Casual was joking about that the other day, but as of now, honestly, you might want to wait.
I don't know what's going on with Sideshow. High edition sizes, and then when the pieces don't sell, it looks like they just roll them around the warehouse and give them on seconds. Like, I don't know.
But they don't even have them shipped out to everyone that pre-ordered, and they're going on seconds.
Yeah.
I can get it sooner too if I get it from seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah. They'll ship it that. They're like, hey, now, hey, seconds.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, let's get into the third part here.
Passionate. We're going to get to category number 3, and I think the people in category number 3 can eat a bag of dicks.
Jesus.
So here is category number 3. Category number 3 is people who intentionally buy a statue to flip it, and you see this all the time. It is very prevalent, especially in custom POs. So POing or pre-ordering a custom statue. You see people who try and flip it for a lot of money before it's even shipped. What the fuck did you do to earn that money? Seriously, you didn't do any effort. It's not like you went to the post office or you displayed the statue or you made a YouTube video trying to sell it. You have done nothing but put money down. And now you're trying to take advantage of other collectors who missed out on it. In my history, I don't believe I've done that. I may have in the past, and full disclaimer, but I know in the last few years, I have never done that. And you can ask a lot of people. I remember a recent one, they wanted to pay me more than retail for it, and it was one I was just transferring my PO. I told them, no, let's just do retail and we're good. I didn't lose anything, and they were able to gain something great without having to spend a lot of money. Because what you people have to remember, sorry, it's 2022. Some of you may not be like
You
OGs
people.
anymore.
You people.
That this price gouging each other as collectors, doing shit like that, is a huge portion of not only what is driving up the statue prices, but also getting other people out of the hobby, making it smaller. So again, we have 3 categories of people. Number 1, you buy a statue.
All right.
John's uncle or something, man. You guys talking the same here.
We'll call it there. We're going to call it there. So we got the 3 categories. So third category. What do you guys think of that? Like, I think this really comes down to your point, Cash. I think that's life. That's everybody doing it. Companies are doing it. Grocery stores do it. They buy your produce from the farmers. Then they sell it to you. They upcharge you. It's just the way life's working.
I agree with him 100% because, you know, I tried selling a custom, and I feel like with a custom, while it's still being made, I'm referring to, all I care about is getting back the NRD I gave the commissioner. Other than that, just give me that back. I'll break even. I'll break away. It's now yours. However, on the flip side, Thor wants that Vader that came out that's new, right? I saw a guy. He's a painter. He purchased one for himself and also another one. Now, I don't know what he's going to do with the other one, but why did you purchase 2? I'm just saying. Yeah. Again, Max Omega Red versus Wolverine. I know somebody out there got 2. Why did you really get 2?
But do you think that's bad?
Oh, no. You can buy as many as you want. But
I think I understand where he's coming from, where it dampens the community. It really puts a shadow over the community. But I think it really comes down to, again, financial situation and how you raise finances for your collecting.
Yeah, that I do agree, because right now, last 6 months, you guys know, haven't been working. So I sold statues like Black Canary. I did end up having to sell. I had to fight with Sideshow Seconds to get it sold, but I got it sold, so I'm cool. Okay. However, my boy Razor lists a price, and that's the price. But that's because he's been, working. He's good financially, and I feel that's how it should be. You list the price, you stick with your guns. Maybe somebody hits you, hey man, can you lower it $50? Okay, $50. Okay, we could work with that. You're trying to buy right now. You're serious. I could work with you. But I don't want people to feel like, hey, let's get over on other people and this and that. And the whole flipping thing, just like Britton was saying, I think it's the word, and it's like the Scarlet Witch or Scarlet Letter, about just the word, man. Just the word.
Flipper, scalper, stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you don't like this, because they're buying extra just to sell, or buying one just to sell. You're taking it away from a collector that would have really liked that and to display it for retail. And you're just doing it to make money on something that you think is going to be in high demand. That's your sole purpose for buying it.
And you see it everywhere. Look, we saw with even the PlayStation 5s.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. A lot of people, a lot of communities don't agree with it. I don't know a community that's like, okay, yeah, we appreciate flippers.
Yeah.
The Dolphins appreciate it.
No, man, as you guys know, I've sold a bunch of statues. I either get what I bought it for or a little bit less than what I bought it for. But I also keep an eye on people that sell stuff, because I make friends out of the people I buy from. I let them know it arrived safely. Thank you for the communication. Thank you for keeping in contact about pictures and everything. So I developed that little community relationship with them. But when I see these sellers that I buy from, or I sell to, they we interact and we talk about people that, hey man, like I'm glad you kept it at that price, and thank you for sticking at that price.
Yeah.
I've met other people, not me, but other people are like, people are doubling on this one. I don't know why you're not doubling on this one. Like you could double on this one, but you didn't. Like it feels like a scam. Like it's kind of weird when he said that. He's like, it feels like a scam.
Yep.
It felt like a scam. So this is why I asked you 20 questions, whatever. And I was like, I'm not looking to flip. I'm just
To make
like
money off of it.
Yeah, I mean it'll be nice, but like I'm also like, if I do that once, I feel like I can't be labeled a collector anymore, because in the community, that's I want to be as part of the community. I want that favor to be returned to me later on. I'm not expecting it, but I feel like if you do a favor for somebody, it'll come back to you later on.
Yeah, but Steve, I don't think that's a flipper though, because if you bought it and displayed it, and then you're like, I'm going to sell it, and I'm just looking at what other people are selling it for, that's what you're supposed to do. You didn't buy it, keep it in the box just to sell it when it goes out of stock.
I was referring to more as like the guys that like Mr. X was saying, like they have a custom in order and they're already flipping it before they even
before it's even coming out. Yeah.
Well, that's because customs are really low.
There's that
too, so they go pretty fast.
But I also think that comes down to the companies as well to do their diligence, putting a limit per person as to how many pieces they can buy, making it even more difficult for them. But well, why do we have 2 going to this address? And kind of, I know it's a lot of work, but kind of doing that analysis as well. Because if you're coming in, and we know we've talked about with that C2E2 just as an example, with companies not caring, people just can come in. Oh, I can order 10, and they'll just sell them 10. You know what I mean? Just because it's an order. I think that's bad for business as well.
I don't think you're going to regulate that in customs, though. Like, I think those people are just like, we sold it, and we just want to sell them all.
That's
we
all
don't
they
care
care
who
about.
they go to.
Yeah.
We just want the money.
So then who do you put the blame on? The people that are paying the upcharge?
I don't want to say that's one of those things you got to deal with, but I kind of think so. From a custom standpoint, you got to understand, like, it's literally 1 or 2 people doing everything that a whole team at, let's say, Sideshow, for example, was doing. And to piggyback off of Steve earlier, I do agree, man, because a lot of the times from pieces I've gained, Gambit, Logan, Doc Ock, etc., I've been able to build those good relationships to where even now, like, I'll hit the person up from time to time about collecting, or just, hey, how you doing, man? I know your business was going slow and you had to sell a couple statues, things like that. And like, I've befriended some of them in the collecting world, and just that good aura, that good vibe of building those relationships. And that's also another like part of like good karma. I kind of want to come back on me. Like recently, somebody put a post like, hey, is Michael Williams a trusted person in the community? I want to sell something and buy something from him. And people responded like, yeah, he's a good trusted person. And that's what I want. So it's not always about, oh yeah, he flips things, or oh yeah, hey, my house has never burnt down, so you got nothing to worry about. I'm just saying.
If you know, you know. That's savage. But valid points. You gotta strike balance. You gotta be able to look after you. You gotta definitely take the community into consideration. You don't want to screw anyone over in the community, because word travels very quickly here. So you want to maintain that balance. But so we get to the end of this episode, and we ask the question: is it okay to flip a statue for profit?
As daunting as this may sound, I agree halfway with Brenton and halfway with Mr. X. Short-term answer, I would love to say no, but I do feel like it's circumstantial.
Yeah, exactly what Cash said. I don't like it, but like, there's times where it's kind of hard to pass up, right? For some people, like people would rather make profit than make friends or be part, do a favor for the community. So
they treat it as a business as opposed to a hobby.
It's kind of hard because like, everyone's like circumstantial finances and everything like that. So it depends, but I don't like it. I don't agree with it.
How about you, Brenton?
See, I don't like that question. There's too many parts. So flipping itself, I don't agree with. if you sell something and the fair market value is greater than what you bought it for, yeah, I think that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where it lies for me is the whole flipping to try to outsmart people. Not into that. But again, people look at it as a business. You got people, the scavengers is what we call them, the bottom feeders. That hey, how can I make a quick buck? No, but seriously, it's in life. It's every day. Yeah. Sneakers, comics, it's everywhere. They want to make a quick buck.
If Thanos on Throne is 1,800, I think helping out the community is just kind of breaking under. It goes for 18. I'm gonna sell mine for 1,650. Oh. It's still helping out, but you're getting.
I'll keep them there. Thank you.
And what was retail on it?
Most thing I'll do, I'll give you free shipping if you want, depending on. I'll work a deal with you. I'm fair, but no, I'm not gonna take no. I can't take a.
I'll even give you a payment plan.
And I overpaid for that. That's my point here too. Is I didn't pay retail. I'm putting the money forward.
Get the bait, Britton. Get the bait.
I'm putting the flipper money. Doom on Throne. That thing retailed for 500 American. I paid 2,100 Canadian for that back in the day. So I paid up, right? So that's why I get passionate about reissues and this whole money talk, because it's like, oh, I'm paying up. I paid up for it. Am I stupid? Maybe for paying that much. But I love the piece. I still do. And then the company comes and re-releases it. I'll think twice before buying from the company. That's all.
Is it a re-release when they just do the character again? Is that?
Oh no, not the
no, not again. Okay. A re-release is like the chap.
No. I just want to check because that is slightly different. So.
Oh, of course, no. If they have that license, they can abuse that character as much as they want. Use it. But just make sure it's different poses, different. Oh, this one's on a throne. Yeah. Don't be diddle-daddling and trying to fool people.
Well, how would you feel though that now that Sideshow released the Daniel Bell Doom and that decreased your Doom on Throne?
No,
like if that was less desirable now.
No, not with that flying skirt.
Well, just theoretically, like would that bother you if that happened?
No. Well, I'll give you more of an example that's actually happening. Mythos Vader.
Yeah.
The OG Mythos Vader, that baby was sell for a hotcake. That one. I don't sell. I hang on to it, but now I'm looking to sell because I'm wanting to get some 1/3 in the house here, and you fucking can't give that thing away for free. Now,
I'll take it.
The mall you can. The mall you get a little nibble, and I'm being fair. I'm charging Canadian. I'm being fair with the price. You can't because everyone's waiting for the show came out, and then Sideshow did that one with the portraits and everything. That's what they want. Even though for me personally, the OG is still the one. I don't know, that it just does something to the heart when you look at the OG one. That contemplation scene, that I don't know, the imagination goes rampant.
So the desirability is left, essentially, for like people looking for like the Vader. Where the Mythos Vader was there, and that was the one that was admired. Now it's kind of shifting to the new one.
New, cheaper. Why am I going to spend so much on that when I can buy cheaper? But then people are going to realize when things are in hand, well, we'll have to wait for it to be in hand. And you got to understand as well, too, is the influx of new collectors coming in. Right? So new collectors don't necessarily have that kind of money to be dropping and like you said, backtracking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, now that's some advice I would have is don't backtrack. I mean,
well,
to be
unless it's Jonathan's statues, you could backtrack on Jonathan's statues.
Cash just ruined the sale.
Jesus Christ. I had a deal. The guy just texted me.
No, I think that is really good advice for new collectors. Like, don't go backwards.
But don't be spoiled brats either. Don't be spoiled brats. You got a lot of new collectors coming here, especially in the 6 scale community, entitled.
What I mean is, be smart. Do one at a time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Do your research too.
Overall, though, I think Mr. X made some great points. It's a great video he made. I don't 100%. Like what Prime 1 did, but a great video by Mr. X.
Mr. X did a great job. Always does on his videos. Again, has some dark humor. Some people rubs the wrong way, but he puts some great content. And not only that, but his collection. Damn. He's got a collection. He's been doing this for years, so he's well known in the community. I'm gonna definitely link his channel in the description of this stream. You guys be sure to go check him out and hit subscribe to him, get that notification bell going, so you can know when he drops a channel. Because you got to support, fellow community members. Even though he has like 26,000 subscribers, so whoever's watching this is probably already subscribed to him. Right?
No, I gotta say really quick, Mr. X, I've seen him for like a year or two now, and my whole like admiration for him has always been like going up. Like from the beginning, I was like, man, this guy's snobby. This guy is like full of himself. He has like a billion statues behind him, but he's true to himself, which I love. He's like one of the rare guys where it's so true, but he tells it how it is too, and he's also humble about everything. So I definitely appreciate all what he's put out so far.
And I think the more you watch him, get to know his personality, the more you kind of understand the humor and sarcasm and everything. So. But I'm not selfish for wanting retail on my statues. Okay, Mr. X, please. Not selfish. So that's it, guys. We'll put a pin in it here. We got the 3 categories. First reactable show. Had a blast with you guys. I hope everyone who watched enjoyed too, because there's going to be more coming. If you're a streamer, if you're talking collectibles, you better be on the lookout, because I'm going to be watching for you.
White Knight.
The White Knight, exactly. But it's all in fun. It's a bunch of guys getting together, talking about the stuff we love. Again, go check out the Extreme channel on YouTube. Also, Casual Nerd Problems. Steve doing a great job on his channel as well. And Cash the Gemini on YouTube. Great content. These guys are putting out great content. So show some support. And, of course, myself. You hit that on the Everyday Collector, hit that notification bell and that subscribe button if you're enjoying what you're watching. And you can find me as well, most of the time, with Collecting Weekly, Zach and Dean and the rest of the gang. We always have a blast over there talking statues, 6 scale, figures, everything. We got a show for every day of the week. So be sure to go check out our content over there, where I'm joined with Brenton as well. Guys,
question of the week every Sunday, right?
Question of the week Brenton has.
Yeah.
Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Usually 1 o'clock Eastern.
1 o'clock. Got it. Great questions, great content. A good way to get the community talking. Little drama here and there. You love it. Brenton's nice setup. Everyone here look good setups, man. Clean. Cash got some nice art prints. You love it. That fan though. Fuck, I'm being hypnotized with that fan. It's good though. It's silent. You can't hear a thing. Zach would be proud. And Brenton, you guys are doing good. Blast to have you guys on here. First episode. Thanks so much for being here. Until next time, be sure to collect every day. Love you guys. Take it easy.